was like. All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Power Hour. We're gonna get started right away. We just jump right into it. So we have a couple EDA series today. We have Essers and then Hilltop. So you're up first.
All right.
Take her away.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Joe Esser. I'm one of the owners of Esser Plumbing Heating in Durham. The Esser family of companies, which is Aqualon Lawn Irrigation, Greens Plumbing in Detroit Lakes, would also be Modern Heating in Detroit Lakes, AirServe and Perm Detroit Lakes and Fargo, and of course, Esser Plumbing itself. It's been an interesting run. I didn't realize it for years and years and years. Dad and I talked about our start as being 1955. I just read an article that my grandpa would have signed off of, where it's actually 1948. So we're gonna leave the fake news up on all the websites and stuff, but it was 1948, not 1955. So it's been around a little longer than I thought, and so I've been a little introspective when I was asked to come, because what does it take for a company to still be viable after 70 years? Because in reality, I don't know if that's me, but here, give me 2 seconds, and I'm gonna cover that up. And the big question is what gives you that type of longevity? And I mean, I feel very blessed to be in Perham. When I grew up, I got to travel around a little bit, be in different places, and I don't know that we're unique to the world, but we're definitely unique in a lot of places. There's very few places that are this aggressive, this progressive about business culture, getting people together, keeping a community vibrant. I mean, there's so much of that happens here that doesn't happen in other places. You know, I've been through a lot of towns that are ghost towns. They are pushing business out. You know, it's just a whole different factor. So, you know, I'd like to say that Esser Plumbing Heating is unique, but I do see that story replicated. I've been blessed to work with many other owners in our AirServe, that's a franchise, right? So I get to talk to probably close to 240 other AirServe owners that all go through the same processes, and we all talk about the same things, and we all talk about how important internal and external customers are, and you know how every business, and you know, those of you in the room that are business owners, I think you understand that every business is literally a family business. You know, at the very least, it impacts every family in that business, and that's a little bit where I'm going to start today. So in our business, my grandpa worked like it says, part-time in the 1960s for Perham National Gas Department, and he had a fairly large family, so he did plumbing on the side to support that. And he did that plumbing out of the old Stan Sayer building. And that one building would have been the original building that my dad would have started off later. And so he bought Perham Plumbing from Ed Graff in the 70s, and then Dad joined him in the mid-70s. So that was when Generation 2 started, but it was literally went from a one-man shop to a one-man shop to a two-man shop. And if you go to the next one. So Dad and Grandpa worked together for a very brief period of time, and they loved each other, but they were like oil and water. So my dad came to my grandpa and he said, "Hey, we got to have a conversation." He said, "There's good news and bad news." And my grandpa said, "Well, let me have the bad news first." And my dad said, "We're absolutely not going to work together anymore." And my grandpa just blew a gasket. He had a quick temper, and my dad just stepped back, let him have his say, and then Dad said, "Well, just hold on a minute. Here's how much I'm going to buy you out for," and then they were fine. So that settled it down. And so actually, I'll back you up one. Sorry, maybe 2. Yeah. So when you're thinking 1948, when my grandpa started, I mean, the iconic music of the day, if you remember, if anyone was around, we even remember that. And the movies and the new inventions. I mean, Tupperware came out in the 40s, Cheetos, Polaroid camera, Frisbee, all that good stuff. So that would have been in my grandpa's time period when he bought it, when he would have been a younger guy. All right, now we can hop back, sorry. And then, one back. And then when dad started, I remember this very well. It would have been disco, polyester clothes, bell bottoms, shag carpet, pet rocks, lava lamp, fondue. Pong was the video game of the day. I just can't even imagine kids playing Pong today, but maybe. Music, Donna Summers, the Bee Gees, Queen, the big films were Jaws and Saturday Night Fever. So when Dad and Grandpa split, Grandpa went back to the gas department, and then eventually he retired out of there and Merle Lease took over. So that's about that time. And then when Merle, of course, retired, then Jeremy took over. And he's there today. There was a timeline in that point. You know, my grandpa and grandma, they met. My grandma was a WAC in the military, and my grandpa met her on base, and then they relocated back to Minnesota. But that military connection. So when my dad was doing, or my grandpa was doing all this stuff, he was also going to Greenland and working on the military base for the United States in Greenland as a plumber. So he would take time off, go do that, and then whenever he came back, the kids would be like, oh crap, now we're gonna have another sibling. So that's exactly how that went. Which is why he was doing all the site work plumbing, right? All right, next slide. So in the early years, I would have grown up in that building on the left, on the right side. So for a long time, that was even our office building when I was a little bit older, because we had the showroom in the building on the right, because that building even existed when this building was there. It's just, if we kept it on the left. So this building is the iteration of that building. This building actually existed inside the other building for a while, and then it got incorporated, torn apart. I've seen so many remodels there, and I said, no more, not my tenure, I'm done. I'm not gonna do one more word. Totally maxed out, where our space is done, where we wanna be. So I think that our last one was 2 years ago. DJ's been through them, he knows, we're done. All we can do if we wanna do anything with spaces, we gotta be like garbage, we gotta go up. There's no out, no interior models left. And I don't wanna do that either, so that'll be the building. So, Dad took those two buildings and combined that building into that building and went from there. That worked well for many years. Worked very well. And if you can jump to the next slide, he would have grown that fairly steadily until about 30 people. And that was very fun years. I'm gonna real quickly do a quick jump. So I get these going around. This one is my grandpa's uniform building code. I just thought it was cool because it's volume number 1. I don't know how many volumes there are now. A lot, but that was volume 1. And this one is the general industry, and this one's universal building code. And they're both, people stamp his names on them. So I, of course, don't have to go by the waste. And then I'm also going to pass out our photo albums from that generation. You're going to see a lot of history in here. And please, if you see people that aren't together anymore, don't mention it to them. This is years and years of life. I mean, we've lost people that were in these books, wonderful people. But a lot of fun. And then people ask me, you know, have you always been in the office or did you turn tools? You know, so this one I'll pass around from this end. That's the biggest piping system I ever worked on. It started with 60-inch concrete pipe. we swung it over with an excavator. My most exciting memory on that job was the swing broke on the excavator, and it swung that concrete pipe around in 3 full circles before it got it back under control. So made the guys in the trench a little excited too. Yeah. So we ran fairly stable, slow growth until 2006. Then we got a call from our geothermal salesman. Very, very nice guy. He doesn't work in that field anymore. But he said, how would you guys like to increase market share? And that's all he said in that voicemail. And I don't know that we were all that interested in expansion at that time, but you know, Dad called him up and said, what's the scoop? And Paschke's in Fargo had just shut down, and they gave their customer list and referred all their employees over to their most hated rival ever, which was Home Heating. And a whole slew of poor people would not go to Home, period, zero, not interested, not gonna do it. And so they helped us start Air Serv Fargo. And the majority of those folks are still with us today. So that's been good. So, you know, in 2019, Dad left his role, day-to-day role, semi-retired. I say he likes to come in, stir up things a little bit, and then laugh and run away. And so then I took over as a third-generation owner. For the snapshot of that time, there were 65 employees, roughly 50 trucks, 2 locations, which, you know, for a town of kind of 2,500 people, you know, even including our cargo shop, we're good, you know, it's moving along. And I laugh because if you looked at my grandpa's picture, he had gray hair, Dad's picture, he had gray hair. I get to have brown hair in my picture. Yeah. Right, next slide. One day later, yep, and today. So, taking a top chair in any business is always a transition. I will tell you, I didn't expect 2020 to come, as we were right at that transition. I mean, Dad had just kind of walked out the door. If you want to go to the next one. Oh, I left it blank. I might have deleted it. Oh no, we're almost there. So, to be honest, DJ was a lot of help in this, but we transitioned to a modern sheet metal shop. So the old railroad building that I grew up in, that building got moved off-site. It got turned into a residential house. Kenny Allstat, our partner, his son Ozzy, took that and made it into a beautiful home. And then eventually sold that and moved out. But so it got a second life. And then we added a modern sheet metal shop so we could do full production in there. And now the work that used to happen at each individual site happens with one person in the shop and then gets brought out to each site. So it's very much high production. It's probably my favorite part when people come to give tours in. If you notice all the big windows, it's literally the brightest area in there. When Greg started in our sheet metal shop, he said, Joe, I've been here for 20 plus years and all I want is a sound system. So if you look in there and you see the 2 pendants hanging down, that's Greg's Bluetooth sound system. He's the only one that has a code for it. He won't give it to Russell because then all we'd ever have is rap music. So a lot of times it's old school rock and roll. Yeah. But it allows us to get way more efficient and to buy giant metal coils, which drove us to have to buy a larger forklift. It's kind of chicken and egg snowball thing. But we went from having to buy ductwork, you know, monster-sized ductwork for industrial projects to being able to fabricate it all in-house. So it was definitely the period. All right, next slide, please. I left 2020 blank. We were all there. I look at it as a shared experience. Yeah, before COVID, during COVID, just after COVID, we all went through it. I figured we all tried to do what we thought was right, and we moved through it. So I'm sure a lot of people would have a lot to say about that year. I look at it as I'm grateful that we came out of it stronger. And so I just left it mostly. All right, next slide, please. So 2023 was our biggest expansion year ever. We added Aqualon, it was Dan Brock, and Dan came on board with us. Dan has been wonderful to work with. He's one of my favorite people. We nickname Aqualon as the Island. And to be honest, the island is party central. So everybody likes to go out to the island and visit. He's got a great new office manager, Christina Ballard, great young crew. They just have a lot of fun out there. And then Green's Plumbing with Nick Green, they came aboard at almost exactly the same time. This was a rougher time period too, because I don't think many people in the room know it, maybe a very select few. Dad had flown back to be a part of the signings and everything for this, and to meet everybody and to have those discussions. And he had a biopsy right before he got on the airplane, maybe a week. And then he didn't know it, but he went septic while he was here. And he was gonna go home and go to bed. He's lucky he went to the hospital because they ended up throwing him out of ambulance department when he barely made it out there. So that was a very interesting time for us. Very, very human time for me, right? Because you got all these big things going on and you're worried about your dad, right? So it's just a big transition period. So anyway, Nick is in that office right there, and he's still involved. And probably his biggest thing he does is and actually Mark Green still works for us. Mark takes the winters off. Mark comes in the spring. Mark is in his 70s and he still does a ton of cabins, and then he'll work the whole Wee Fest through start to finish, which to me is crazy because I'll be honest, I'm not doing that in my 70s. You know? But some of these older guys, I look at them as like being old oak trees, right? They just keep trucking. There's no slowing them down. So those guys came aboard. It was actually a big learning curve for us. That is when we went from 60 people to over 100 people in one shot. I mean, all in one year. So I know some people work for companies that are quite a bit larger than ours, but that was probably our biggest paradigm shift. Was we couldn't run things anymore like a mom and pop shop. Some of the things that we used to do, they just don't fit because you have to, you really have to dot your I's, cross your T's a lot better. And then the culture shift was very apparent too. We had a lot of work to do, and it did. It probably took until 2025 before we really, Aqualon being right in our backyard came pretty quick. Greens being 25 miles away took a little longer. That investment was pretty strong because I think we did 15 new trucks that year and tool them all, and it's $11,000 a truck roughly to tool them. And then inventory, having an adequate inventory. All right, next slide. So in 2026, we're about 104 employees, 90 trucks, 4 locations. ILAP is down for the last bunch of years. We've tracked Google reviews. We sit at about 800 Google reviews, to 4.9 star average. Our service department, and I know at some point a lot of people in the room have bumped into them, at least somewhere, but when someone sends us a negative review, we freak out. It's weird, but we don't get a ton of them. And we are Minnesota Nice, right? So if any of you really had a problem, you'd probably call us and tell us. But if the service is knocked out, then people won't share it. But the point ones were like, where did we go wrong? What did we do? So that's kind of our big thing is if we really screw up, try, right? Uh, And then, I like to talk about in plumbing and heating, what do you get excited about, right? I mean, I look at it as what would cause you guys, because I've told my wife many, many times, I said, if I moved away from Durham and I didn't know anybody, and I moved to, a big city or something, I always figured if I call any number for plumbing, heating, and phone book, they're gonna come and they're gonna fix my problem. I think that's a logical explanation. I'm gonna check Google reviews, I'm gonna look for negative reviews, so forth and so on. If I know somebody there, I'll probably ask them what experience they've had. But at the end of the day, what's the difference is, and I think a lot of the difference is how do you treat people in the end, I expect us to be generally, everybody has to be competitive with each other, but that is the real thing. How are you gonna be treated? And I expect that our competitors are gonna be good at what they do. I mean, they're not gonna be around super long if they're not. I've seen people come and go, it's the nature of the beast. So, maybe in Fargo, I've seen a little bit of that, people with great marketing and outlast bad reviews, but not really. So I think I have one more. Yeah, so what's next for us? When we did this in 2023, that's when I learned I wasn't very smart. Because we did all that and we changed the entire backbone software system for our company. And we did that all in 1 year. Yeah, you just grimaced. In hindsight, I grimaced because when we did the software system side, we picked the wrong implementer. We're just finishing it now. So if you dealt with us on the billing side, it was messy. And we're finally getting cleaned up. We're at the point where we're getting comfortable again. But I told Brenda, I said, our newest people, like our assistant controller and my right-hand lady, that's Brooke, they've never lived in what I would consider normal. Because it's always been implementation, big projects to get to completion. So I'm really looking forward to the rest of this year and beyond to get to what I would consider a true normal, just order business. And when I look at also things we can get excited about, like the technology we use, I issued an additional 15 iPads. This is crazy. This is nutty. In our company, we have 90 Verizon devices. Just to me, that's mind-boggling almost. But when you think about it, when we send a service technician, what they're expected to do, they're going to use ServiceTitan. They're going to track everything. They're going to run XOI, and all XOI does is it follows a workflow. So, like, if I come to your house and I'm going to do a tune-up on your furnace, when I get done, how do you know that I actually did what I said I was going to do? That's where XOI comes in. It dots the I's, crosses the T's, make sure all the workflows are done. And then we can double check that back in the office to make sure that we're executing what we say. Now that doesn't say that technology doesn't sometimes fail. We can't get it done, but for the majority of baseline, yeah. I'll tell you, there's been some transition. I was just thinking about it the other day, and I just went through probably my 7th representative for Ferguson, or one of our big wholesalers. And I'm like, geez, I've been doing this 20 years. And these guys can't keep a job. So I was just kind of chuckling, So I look at what the transition is going to be. I know that any of us in our business are only stewards for future generations. If the community allows us to keep doing business here, someone else will be doing it at some point. It won't be me. I'm 50. If I don't stop at some point, the good Lord will stop me. So it's like, you never know. Might be somebody in this room that is the next person that takes over it, takes it down the road. Yeah, maybe you. She's smiling. So I always, that's the one last thing I want to finish on. One of the things we talked about is a long time ago, I was in Toastmasters. And so I would give speeches in front of rooms, and I'm a little stiffer than I used to be because I'm way out of practice. But in Toastmasters, I stood up at M State in front of a room full of college kids. It was an auditorium, and we each had to give our speeches. And I talked about my biggest one, and I think honestly my best one ever, was about a life of service. When you sign up to when you go to work, basically, you're signing up for a life of service. And when you become a business person, it cements that even more. Or if you're in a community. So that was the speech I gave on how all of us are in a life of service to others. And I think that is really one of the reasons why companies get to run 70 years, because we're in a life of service to others. I think without that, if you're in a life of service to yourself, you don't get to run that road as far. And if you're supremely in it just to be a community taker and not a community giver, I think that helps you run a shorter road too. So, and one of the best things about that speech is when I got done with that, they knew my name when I started. They had to fill out and rank us and all that stuff, and I did take home a gold ribbon that day. I was very proud of my gold ribbon, and none of them knew who I was. They all wrote down the plumber guy. So that was pretty fun. But thank you for your time. I ran way over. So yeah, I'll give back the floor.
So I apologize, we have to let the bike guy in really quick because he is online. If that's okay.
Yeah,
Sneak
go
him
ahead.
in. Okay.
Yep.
All right, so this is Chad from the band bike tour group. Go ahead, Chad.
A series of entertainment activities and things like that. We'd like to highlight kind of the small towns that that the rides go through. And in this year, we're going through the Detroit Lakes area. Mary, who is kind of the founder of BAM, she would have vastly more details for you, and I'm happy to share contact info with all those folks. But I'll kind of just blast through here, and I'll try to keep an eye on the chat when I'm done for any questions. So again, kind of like I said, what is BAM? It's bicycling around Minnesota. It rotates the route and region of the state to try to keep things fresh, and has really covered a lot of the state since its founding in 2006. Partners with the Bicycle Alliance of Minnesota, largest statewide bicycling advocacy and education organization. Freewheel Bike is a local chain bike repair and retail store. And there's all sorts of more information you can find on our website. So who participates in it? We get quite a wide range of folks, pulling people in from, I've been surprised to learn, like over 25 states, Canadian provinces. We get a pretty even gender split. age ranges from 25 to 80. I'd say more folks tend to be in like the retired age side of things, which I think does follow the demographics for kind of rides of this type. We're seeing more and more e-bike riders every year, and I imagine that's kind of a hot topic around the country, really. Maybe differentiating between some of like the e-motorcycles that are favored by kids, and then the class 3 e-bikes, which again could be a whole other presentation. I'd be happy to talk more to you about at a later date. We get riders from clubs around the state. A lot of these folks ride together a couple times a week, and then this is something they all do together. And then we've got a lot of volunteers to kind of pull the whole thing together. Rider feedback is generally very positive, especially for those that this may be their first time bike touring, or doing like a camp and ride every day. We are adding hotel options this year to kind of make it even more of a comfortable experience for those who may want some air conditioning every night and a softer bed. People kind of take away all sorts of different things that they really appreciate about the ride, and we get consistent good feedback. The ride is 50 to 70 miles a day, and that might seem like a lot, but stretched out across the day, it does give our riders an awful lot of time to spend in the communities we're riding through, and they do. They tend to want to visit the shops on Main Street. A lot of times we don't offer lunch intentionally because we want folks to spend money in the local communities, and find some places that they may not have been to before. Let's see, just kind of some more pictures of kind of the experience that folks get. Kind of nice thing this year is we're going to be 2 nights in Detroit Lakes, so we're not going to have to pack up and move. That first day gives them a little bit more time that next morning to kind of leisurely get up and explore a little bit more. And that is what we really encourage people to do. Nobody has to participate in some of these attractions and stuff, but generally they do, and it is something that they like to kind of do together. Anything from museums to some of these some of the farms, the local farmers markets, any street fairs or anything else that's going on. We always try to highlight those, and these are again just kind of some more photos of kind of what's going on there. Yoga, some other things like right on site on occasion. I apologize, there's a fire station right next to my office. The ladder truck's pulling up right now. So this year, that's kind of again why I'm here, is August 13th through the 16th. Registration continues through August 2nd. We've got about 250 some riders, and maybe a dozen or 2 dozen volunteers signed up right now. So expecting to see about 300 people in the communities, and like sponsorship opportunities, things like that. You can talk to Lisa. I'm happy to field those as well. And it really can be anything. If there's any incentive businesses want to provide, like coupons or anything like that to riders, we're happy to share those. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a formal sponsorship opportunity. We're still kind of trying to figure out like a good format for that for people, and what's going to make sense for these communities. But Mary, who wanted to be in here today, is actually, I think, in the region, still kind of planning more and more of the event to make sure everything's running smoothly. She can provide a lot more details. So I'm kind of B team here to talk about the event. And actually, I'm also getting ready for one of our bigger rides this coming weekend in St. Joseph, Minnesota, which is the Tour of Saints. That'll bring about 700 riders to like the St. Cloud region. Starts at St. Ben's College. So if anybody's interested in that, I'm happy to extend some very generous or even free rides if you want to come down to St. Joseph and say hi this weekend. That's on Sunday. So Here's the contact slide. I know I kind of blasted through this, but I'm sure you all have other business you need to get through, and I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to introduce myself, and we'd love to talk more about the tour coming through Perham and the rest of the region. I believe that's correct. Yep. Absolutely. I'll put the website in the chat there too, and if you want to peruse that anymore. Yeah, thanks again for taking the time, and please reach out if you have any other questions. Yeah, have a great day, everybody. Bye.
They set up their tents, they'll be in the fairgrounds, emergency shelter, you can pack. Yeah, food vendors. Kelly Smith is kind of helping with the catering. All right, Hilltop, are you ready? Sure. Okay.
Well, first, thank you all for Area Chamber and everybody here for inviting us to speak today. Just going to touch on a few things. I'll just speak to, I like a few things you said, that every business is a family business. Hilltop Lumber is definitely family owned, but I appreciate the fact it is family and it's all work together, just together a lot. Like every family, it's not perfect, but you just hope you get the right people together and go from there. And then also you touched on, there's a lot of competitors, and a lot of people do the same thing. Do it great. That. And so just like in the lumber industry, hardware, there's a lot of companies that do the same thing we do. I'm just going to touch on that. So anyways, my name is Brian Klimek. I am one of the owners of Hilltop Lumber, and I oversee all of our four locations. You may know Henry Fisher. He's the general manager of our Ottertail location. And you got the flyer. I'm not going to go through everything. Next, you can go through it. I'm going to touch on a few things, but just give more detail of what we're all doing. Like I mentioned, we're a family-owned business. My dad started the company, so him along with myself and my three sisters are all owners of Hilltop Lumber. He started the company in 1988. I don't know if any of you have been to the Glenwood area, but Glenwood overlooks Lake Minnewaska, and you get to the top of the hill, and you go down quite a ways, lots of that, and that's where we got our Hilltop. So we started in Glenwood. 1995, we expanded to the area, Purpose Prairie in 2000, Brandon in 2007, Ottertail in July of 2014, and most recently our graduate. We have closed our Brandon and Purpose Prairie locations, and so that leaves us with 4 locations that we have. Growth wasn't always becoming the biggest. It was trying to find growing to communities that lakes areas, but growing communities that we consider that. Our purpose statement is we help plan, supply, and deliver dreams. That in a nutshell is what Hilltop Lumber does. So the drafting process, planning it out, having materials to deliver, the dreams are any project that we can be a part of. That can be anything from house, toy shed, tree house. Dream could be fixing those hinges that are squeaking all the time. Whatever it is, we're there to help with any project, no matter how small or how big. Help with this service as well. Because every project matters, and I'm trying to be a part of that, help solve issues or problems. Help them. Touch on Otter Tail a little bit more, so all of Hilltop Lumber, we have 104 employees, exact size, give or take. In the summer, we obviously have some summer help. Otter Tail Home Center, we purchased July 1st of 2014. At that time, they had 9 team members, which included the owner, along with 5 trucks and 2 forklifts. We built a new store. How many have been to our location? Otter Tail? Awesome. Do you know where our new location is? Just to the west of where old stores at. We built that in 2017. To add more showroom, hardware, and office space. We quickly outgrew it because of the area, urban area, out of the market. So we had 1, and then recently we added a 31,000 square foot warehouse. The goal is to keep all the materials inside. So today in our Otter Tail location, we have 26 team members, 9 trucks, and 5 forklifts, full-time draftsperson, and full-home support truck. It truly is, even though they get support from our other locations, it truly is standard. All the inventory, everything you need to do. Usually our other locations are short or need something. Why we chose the Otter Tail Perham area market. One was looking forward to looking like Nebraska, we have the Chain Lakes. When we started looking this way, we knew there were lakes, but holy cow, pales in comparison to all the other areas. There's a lot here. Looking at the market, Perham is a growing area. Just a lot of home construction, novels, additions, a lot of lake residents, year-round residents. It just seemed like a great opportunity. So we're very excited. We're here. Continue to invest in this market, whether it's adding additional inventory, additional people, and so forth. We're here. We're not just about selling product. We're about we serve everyone, whether it's commercial contractors, residential contractors, do-it-yourselfers, weekend warriors. We have complete building materials on site. Other than special orders, windows, doors, that all gets ordered inside. Species and all of that. From there, we can estimate, quote everything, and then drafting, design it. I want to touch on that briefly. So we have one draftsperson in Otter Tail here, one draftsperson in Park Rapids, 3 at our elementary location, and we have 1 person recall. So we have 6 draftspeople on staff. The reason I want to touch on that is because the planning is where everything starts before the shovel goes in the ground. It's such an important aspect of project going well. So yeah, I put our team up against anybody in that category. Just great ideas, but more importantly, they know how it is. And so by the time the project ever gets a shovel in the ground, more than likely we have 5 sets of eyes just focusing on it. Let alone estimate it, estimators that go through it. So we have a lot of opportunity to catch mistakes. These projects are difficult, lots of details, and so it's very exciting about that team. And then job site deliveries here in Otter Tail, we have a boom truck, a piggyback truck, so boom. We need something lifted up to the 2nd level. Or a piggyback lift, set product on the ground, easy, or we have the tools to help try and make it easier for our customers. I mentioned special order products, Marvin windows, Anderson, interior exterior doors, we complete all just a matter of finding homeowners. We do all sorts of projects. I need to go through all of them, like new homes, remodels, garages, decks, flooring, paint. We got it all here in Otter Tail. Full hardware store. So more than just lumber, especially on the weekends this time of year, we can still come. Got it all. And with competitors and other on the earth that say, oh, everybody says it's about the people. I believe we are a family, we work really well together, and so we built all of this on trust. We've been with us for 38 years, and the fun part is we've been house starting. We have for quite a while. We supplied a house years ago with and they're coming back for a second. So it says a lot if they're coming back to us for a second project. And the beauty of it, not all the time, but a lot of time it's the same. So our average tenure we take off first year hire, it's over 10. It's roughly about that half. Well, so that people, that's a lot of time. Obviously, if we had all the first year, but we have real people, local people that live around the area. Their goal is to help solve problems, not to sell products. When we sell the market, once it's really hot, we have 4 months out of the market. So we can get pretty much any product that anyone wants. That's what they do. So it's just to help solve problems. And our delivery, we have a great team out back, put things together. Touch on our core values. This is what we hire and fire by, and we live it and follow it pretty close. So ethics, it's always do what is right. Excellence, it's a desire to be the best and bring the best to our customers. Change, challenge the way it has always been. Team player, to put on this first, and then have fun. Just celebrate success. And I think we do a pretty good job of that as we're a family and just try and enjoy each other's time. So looking ahead, the future, we're going to continue to invest into this Perham area outer tip market, whether it's through more people, more inventory, additional software to help our team just estimate and do things quicker, more efficiently, and more accurate. We're just going to help our contractors grow their business and solve customers' problems. That's really what our goal is. So we believe a strong business helps build strong communities, which is why we invest back into local schools, youth activities, and just the area nonprofits. So we continue to do that in the areas we serve. So just to close it out, I know we're on time here. I just want to, we know there's many places that you can go to wherever we are, wherever needs. I really think what sets us apart, if you get a chance to come into our location, you'll be greeted with a smiling face. You'll meet somebody that has the knowledge that can help you. Maybe not that person, but you can find somebody that has it. And so our goal is to help the customers succeed with what they're doing and so forth. But we're grateful to be a part of this Perham area, the Otter Tail community, and we're looking forward to serving for many more years to come. Any questions or comments? I made up some time and I
All right.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, oops, done Otter Tail County. We'll ask them back again. Okay. So new members, we've gotten some new members that have come in, so that's pretty fun. We have the trucking, Dirt Road Diesel, they're from Richville, Minnesota. Rewind LLC. And then Otter Express joined us just a few days ago. That's the bus service that is here for the county. And then last night, American Family Insurance, Tammy Joe, she just opened that one up by Family Dollars. They joined last night. So any of those people here? Okay. Next up, we will do Kayla Jenke to talk about the East Otter Tail County Fair.
Can't believe it's next week already.
Yeah.
July came fast, to say the least. Yeah, so I'm Kayla Jenke with the East Otter Tail County Fair. I'm just gonna highlight some things going on fair next week, July 23rd through the 26th. Thursday is our Veterans Day, so we kind of celebrate our veterans with flag raising. We do a honor quilt presentation right away in the morning, kind of open up the fair, stuff like that. Our first wristband session will be from 6 to 10. that night for the carnival rides. Always a big night. And then we have Church of Cash performing, which is also another big group. Johnny Cash tribute band from 5 to 7. Friday is our Senior Citizens Day, Senior Day in the park from 11 to 2. Vendor booths will be set up and music by Chris Frost. 4 to 7, Blind Joe from The Voice will be here. We saw him down at our county fair convention, and we thought, oh, we need to have him at our fair this year, so be nice to have him. Our second wristband session is also that day on Friday from 1 to 5. And our big modified truck and tractor pull with Red River Rally pullers is at 7 o'clock. Saturday, that is our Kids Day. We have a Lego building contest, which the kids just love. We have Elvis, he's coming. And 6 o'clock is our demolition derby with Full Arena Promotions. And new this year, RV derby. I don't know what that's gonna entitle, but we'll find out. And that'll also be in our grandstand. Sunday, kind of our last day of the fair, wrap up, whatever, 8 to noon, we have our pancake breakfast, free will donation, pancake, sausage, coffee, milk, whatever, stuff like that. We have church in the park with Sherry Marquardt at 10 a.m. in the park shelter area. So come have breakfast and then join us for church. The kids pedal pull is at noon. That's a state sanctioned event. So if the kids win their whatever, they can go on to the state pedal pull. I used to do that as a kid and I loved it. I never made it to the state though, so, but anyway. And then at 6 o'clock on Sunday, the fair closes for 2026. But we have a great lineup of music entertainment this year from like Church of Cash, Elvis, Crop Dusters, like I said, Chris Frost. I'm drawing a blank on the rest of them, but we also have many contests to participate in, like the Lego building contest, the rooster crowing contest, the rooster calling contest. They're two separate ones. So the rooster crowing one is where you have to get a rooster to crow so many times. The rooster calling one is like your best rooster crow. So, and then, yeah, that was a pretty big hit last year too. So, we also this year kind of focused our theme on America 250. So we're doing some kind of American themed stuff, scarecrow contest. My Lego building contest will be kind of American themed. And we're also doing a new thing called Where's Uncle Sam? So you will have to go out and find Uncle Sam every now and again throughout the fair and take a selfie with him, post it to our hashtag, I can't remember what the hashtag is right now, or just show your selfie to the fair office and you'll receive a ticket for to put your name in a drawing to win some money. So yeah, fun time. I just, it's just crazy that it's next week already. I'm just, like all of a sudden I was July 4th and holy crap, we're 3 weeks away. Yeah, so I have a couple of premium books and a couple of posters. If we missed anybody, would we put out flyers and stuff. Schedule is you can scan that QR code or our website, otcountyfair.org, or Facebook. We're blasting stuff out there all the time. So I think I remembered everything, but if not, it is what it is.
We have the wristband.
Yeah, you guys have pre-sale ride tickets. And they're all over town, all over the county. So we appreciate those businesses and for doing that for us. So, any questions, comments? Not, thank you.
Thank you so much. Great. We also have the Pioneer Festival coming up in August. Anyone here today? No. Okay. So that's coming up in August, same weekend as that Van Bike Tour. So that'll be a good weekend in town. And then we have Brave Like Gabe. That is also coming up at the end of August. I know we have a couple students here and Jeff sent us some good stuff. Do you guys want us to play this first?
Yeah.
Okay.
tourists here, and I'm sorry I can't be with you here in person today at the Perm Chamber Power Hour, but you're in great hands with two of our athletes, and honestly, they're the best story we've got. This fall, we're gonna have 115 to 120 kids out for cross country, and that's 7th through 12th grade, girls and boys. Last year, we had our biggest team ever, breaking 100 for the first time in program history, so we're gonna be up to another 15 to 20 kids. And the crazy thing is, last year we graduated 24 seniors. Last season, both our girls and boys finished runner-up at the Class AA state meet. But what I'm most proud of is that on our team, every kid, no matter what runner you are on our team or how fast you are, you have a place on our team, and you feel like you belong and you feel like you're cared for. That's the most important thing in our program. On Saturday, August 29th, we host our 7th annual Brave Like Gabe, invite 35 plus teams, 4,000 to 5,000, 6,000 people will be in Perm. It's going to be live streamed statewide, with Boston Marathon legend Dick Beardsley coming to share his story after our awards that day for all the teams and any of the fans that want to stay around. All the honor is to Gabe Grunwald, a Perm kid who I had the blessing of coaching for the last few years of high school. This meet is Perm at its best because we have not only the school that comes together to put this event on, but the community that supports it. So amazing since we started this meet in 2000, I think it was 2019 now. We need your parking lot help for parking, volunteers, and your businesses. Let's show everybody that comes to that meet that day in the state who we are. Go Yellow Jackets.
Okay, so I guess we can introduce ourselves. My name is Tessa Starzl. I'm gonna be a senior this year. I've been in cross country. This will be my 6th year. Yeah.
My name is Ben Mathieson. I'm going to be a junior, and this will be my 5th year in cross country. So Morris just went through kind of the entire slideshow. We'll try to go a little bit more in depth. We haven't seen the video yet, so that was the first time we've seen it. So why we run Gabe's story. Gabe enrolled ran cross country and track after graduating in 2004. She was on at the University of Minnesota, earned a scholarship, and became an NCAA Division I All-American, missing a national title in the 1500 meters by less than a second, just 1 year after her first cancer diagnosis. Gabe ran professionally through 4 battles with rare cancer, including 2 Olympic trials, and founded the Brave Like Gabe Foundation to fund rare cancer research. She passed away on June 11, 2019. At our meet, every race begins with a warm-up tribute, 14 and 5 seconds early, her 5K personal record, keeping her legacy and her hometown's pride in her alive every August. And then there's a quote, "Being brave for me means not giving up on the things that make me feel alive."
Alright, so then from cross country today. Okay, we have 115 to 120 athletes this year, which is crazy. We're gonna need like 3 buses this year, so it's pretty sweet. It's been pretty fun. We have our grades are from 7 to 12, so everyone has a place, and it's really fun to hang out with the younger kids and the older kids, and we all get really close. It's pretty great. And this program has been building since 2002. What our team stands for. So we really stand for like hard work is hard work. There's no shortcuts in running or life. So we learn a lot. I feel like in cross country, it's a lot of good lessons and really take it through everything we do. Positive mental attitude, that's a big one. If you don't have a positive attitude when you're running, it's not going to really go pretty well. And I think our team has a pretty good mindset when it comes to that. We're always trying to like uplift each other, and it's pretty good. How we respond matters more than what happens. Enjoying the journey. We really like to focus on enjoying every little moment and not just like winning in things. So that's a pretty big one. It's a home for athletes who might not have one elsewhere. So we're a big family. We're all really close. Everyone that runs for it says they don't run for like the running part. They run because it's a family. So
We're coming off a historic season. Both of the boys and girls team are state runner-ups. for AA, and this is, I think, that was our third year being in AA. So hopefully we can do better this year.
All right, so a tradition of excellence, 2002 to 2025. We've had 13 state champions, 8 boys and 5 girls, 29 top 2 state finishers, 24 straight years at the state meet. Yeah, and a little thing showing all of our state meets. It's pretty fun.
Not just a meet, an event for Firm. There are going to be more than 35 teams from across Minnesota attending this event, and there's going to be like 5,000 to 6,000 runners and spectators in town that Saturday. And it's ranked number 3 for like top 10 MSHSL events in Minnesota by John's Journal. And there's over $5,000 raised for the Brave Lake Caves Foundation to like support research for rare cancers.
All right, so new in 2026. So yeah, one more said, Dick Beardsley, he's pretty great. He came and talked to us at camp one time. It's pretty cool, dude. He'll be there. Live streaming, that's also pretty cool. I feel like the big races get the live streaming, and so we get to do that this year. And there's more teams than ever. Lots of big teams are coming down. It's pretty cool because we're a small town, and then you get to see, yeah, lots of people.
How Perm can help. Community support has made this event what it is. This year we are asking you to help us go bigger. There are 3 big ways you can help out. You can volunteer on race day. Parking and traffic are Big Park and Pioneer Grounds, spectators, shuttles, course setup, and meet workers. There's businesses. Join Gabe's Legacy. Donate a portion of that Saturday's proceeds to the Brave Lake Caves Foundation for rare cancer research. And then just welcome our visitors, because we have over 5,000 guests eating and shopping in Firm. Show them the community Gabe called home.
So that's kind of the big one, is they're asking all businesses if they, 10% of coffee sales or whatever you could do, and then you can donate it to that Brave Lake Caves, and that's how they get that 5,000 the last time. But yeah, so they're kind of asking businesses to step up, and
Yeah.
this town will be busy that day.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, city updates. Royce, anything?
I think we're okay. Just real quick, so today's an exciting day, filing opens. So if you wanna run for city council, you can file today. That's fun. No, fuck it. So, but filing is open the 14th through the 28th, if anybody's interested or knows anybody interested, definitely stop up to City Hall and we can help out. It costs $2.
Holy.
It's a lot. Maybe more importantly, the latest update I got from Ottersville County, so again, they're gonna be doing 3rd Avenue Southeast or County 8, from Main Street to, the interchange. They're still planning on starting Monday the 27th, so the weekend after the fair. From, again, what I was told in the latest update, they will start that first week. It's probably not a lot of noticeable changes. They're gonna be doing kind of the sidewalk approaches and those types of things. So a lot of concrete work off the road, the travel section. Second week, they'll start from Main Street and go to Fox Street. So that will be closed for a week, for 4 days is what they're hoping. And then the next week, they'll go from Fox Street to Coney Street. That will be closed for 4 days, and then that'll be it. So be like 2 to 3, hopefully, weeks of disruption. We'll survive. It's like, yeah.
All right, open mic, anyone have anything to share? United Way, go ahead.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
We're gonna be super fast. I'm Jen from United Way. We are doing stuff with bus collection starting next week. You are probably used to big blue bins. We are no longer using the big blue bins. They just get too big and too heavy when they fill, because we're literally stuffing the bus. So if you would like to host a bus box, let us know. We brought some today. We'll be back with more next week. And registration runs at the same time for families and kiddos who want to participate. I'm gonna stop because we have got 2 more.
I'm Leanne Chalmers, I'm Marketing and Development Manager at United Way Lakes and Prairie. And we have a couple fun things. I just wanted to remind everybody that all of the funds we raise, a lot of the funds we raise are going to the Traveling Treehouse this year. Watch the van, and we're here in Perham at Miller Park, at the Perham Paul Miller Park, every Friday from 11 to 12:15. The kiddos get 75 minutes of education, reading, crafts, and a little snack, and to take home with them for future encouragement of reading. And then lastly, I just want to cover, we have a golf classic coming up in Perham on Monday, August 10th, Wadena, excuse me, on Monday, August 10th. We're still looking for teams and sponsorships, full sponsors, whatever. Give me a shout out or register online at our website. And any other fun and things we have, a food drop coming up next Wednesday up in Wadena also. So that is no registration. If you know friends or family in need in that area, please look us up on the website. Thank you.
Okay, I just have two quick things. One of them, the Brave Light Gabe just reminded me to speak about, I'm on the booster club for the cross country team. Like I said, we have 120 kids this year, so we're working really hard to make enough money to get those kids places because funding from the schools doesn't cover like 3 buses to get kids, like all these kids that we need. So we're trying to raise money as a booster club too. So if anybody's interested in being a donor towards that, just contact me, Katie Murdoch, or you can contact Brian Rustad or Jeff Morris. Cross country has like a 3.9 GPA overall for the team. It's so much more than running, and I think it's really cool. There's at least a handful of kids I know of that are special needs, and they're running, and they're running everything just like anybody else. And you just know that it's much more than just like drive to win. It's much more than that. So if you want to be a part of that and help out the team, that would be awesome. Second thing is Elevate is hosting a doctor from the U of M next week. Dr. Gogler, he's going to come speak on Alzheimer's. We were supposed to have it at our office next Thursday, but our air conditioning is out. So it's going to be like 90 degrees still. So we're moving it over to Calvary Lutheran Church. So it's next Thursday, July 23rd at 10 a.m. And yeah, it's like a privilege to have him come to our town and speak on this. So 1 in 9 people are diagnosed with Alzheimer's over 70. So it's just an educational opportunity. If you're interested in coming, so that's all.
And Hutch Johnson will be here today. He's gonna surprise Elevate.
Oh my God.
So he's talking at Kids Camp with Pat.
Oh,
So he's gonna stop and say hi to the seniors.
it's also birthday, monthly birthday.
Oh, that's
so
okay.
maybe I'm gonna head over there.
Yeah.
My birthday's
Apparently Mindy Larson's super
Oh,
fan.
huge.
And she like was texting me, like, Hutch is coming.
Yeah.
And I'm like, girl, sorry.
Yeah.
There's
So-
also a location change next month to
Oh, yeah.
Pizza Ranch.
Pizza Ranch.
Because
Because
they have
of
some little voting here, I guess.
Primaries.
Does anyone else have anything they want to share? Okay, want some prizes? Who's our first one? So this is for the Reuse It gift store, $25. Tim, get to go shopping. Okay, next one, this is the Lakeside Tap, $25 gift card. Winner is Lisa Glenn. Maybe Trey from Lisa, probably not. She likes Lakeside. All right, Silver Moon, $25. Ooh.
Yay!
Thank you, guys. All right, thank you guys for coming. Want to give you a good next month? Let's